episode 3 of Group Therapy with Mad Wine Chemist. And today's guest is Charles Alexander. This gentleman has a soulful voice that you will fall in love with. We're going to talk about wine, life, business, and more. So let's get into it. Charles, why don't you give yourself a little introduction?
What is going on? What's going on? My name is Charles Alexander. I am a vocalist. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer. Been singing for about literally all my life. And also wear a lot of many other hats. And it's a pleasure to be here and talk with you.
All right. So today's wine that we're drinking a red raspberry from Texas South Winds. Shout out to Tanner. Hey Tanner, winemaker down there at Texas South Winds. You do a great job. I love this, man.
Delicious.
Definitely notes of the raspberry. Definitely sweet, smooth. This is one I would recommend you add to your collection. Don't discount fruit wines, y'all. Fruit wine is delicious. Definitely pairs well with pastas and soft meals. So yes, this wine is delicious. So let's get back into it. Charles, you do a lot of singing now. Like, did you start off as like a wedding singer, or you how'd you get into the business?
Well, as far as singing, honestly, I think I started out singing in the church as young as 5, 6 years old. That's where it all started. As far as how I got into a career and where I'm at now with it is, I did sing at a lot of different weddings as a younger artist coming up. But then I also went to school for music. I went to college with the Berkeley College of Music for a while, and ended up pretty much learning a lot about the actual music business up there, where I ended up starting my own band, ended up doing a lot of cool things like opening up for Wale, doing backgrounds for Stacey Barth, which was really, really dope. And eventually like hosting my own events and learning how to like run platforms for live bands and other artists and stuff like that to come and have a place to pretty much, share their art. So singing in general brought me to the part what I was saying where now I kind of wear a lot of hats. But yeah, so overall I've been singing pretty much all my life, and it's always going to be a part of my passion, the overall umbrella of what the things I do.
All right. So I know you do a lot of instructing in the Houston area. You want to talk about that? Like, you instruct younger musicians, and how do you like that?
Yeah, I like that. It's pretty cool. I do teach. I do private lessons for piano, drums, and vocals. I've been doing it for about like a year and a half now, and honestly, it's really, really cool. Teaching runs in my family. Actually, my mother's a teacher, my sister's a teacher, my grandmother's a teacher. So I've always kind of had a passion to give back, in some form or fashion. And since music is always going to be my passion and always going to be what I love to do, it feels really good and rewarding to be able to like teach another young person how to, play an instrument or just simply follow their passion of wanting to be involved in the craft of music.
Have you found that one student that you feel like it's just gonna be something special, or like tell me a story about like working with these kids or these students? Like, have you found somebody that's just like, oh man, I really think they're gonna be great if they like just focus, or like.
Wow. Yeah, I have if I would, I guess I'll pick one. Sorry if y'all watching this, because all my students know I try not to pick a favorite. But shout out to Candace. She's a young vocalist. She's about 16, and she's
killing.
She's a killing vocalist, and she's only been studying with me for about like 6 months now. And we went from pretty much her being like really like shy to her pretty much now doing actually theater, musicals and stuff like that. And she's actually doing a really good job. So shout out to her. But yeah, I have a lot of students that most of my students I kind of always find something within them anyway.
And just bring it out.
Try to bring that potential out. And because there's a lot of lanes for a lot of different things in the world of music. But if you want to be an artist, there's ways that you can do to try to be an artist. If you want to be a person who just serves in music, whether that be just like playing at a church or doing this or whatever, that's okay. There's ways to do that too. But it's all about kind of like knowing what you want to do, your passion, and following that. So within all my students, I try to like lean into that and just kind of bring that out. Like, why do you want to learn this? Because I don't, it's not like I give them grades. I don't grade them or anything like that.
Right.
So
You're just trying to bring the best out.
Yeah. So
you're not like that dude from that movie though, right? Like you driving, throwing things at them and driving them crazy.
Oh nah. I mean, hey, man, I don't do it. I try not to. Only because it's 2022.
Yes.
Back in my day, I definitely got books thrown at me by my band of rappers and stuff like that. So, but at the end of the day, like I said, I just try to bring the best out of them, like any way possible. And they also get to know me. The thing I like about private lessons is I kind of get to be myself. I don't have to kind of wear a certain code, under a certain rule of how I'm supposed to look, act, dress, or teach, or whatever like that. And so it's easy for me to connect to a student based off of just our connection. You know what I mean?
So, like, has the teaching kind of evolved you in your own career, like in your own singing career? Have you picked up things that you've taken from teaching into your own career?
Yeah, I would say so, but I also kind of say it was kind of a little bit in reverse. I feel like being involved in the actual career of singing and in the business of entertaining has pretty much pushed me to the point where I feel like I learned that you never know everything in this craft. There's always room for growth, so that always humbles you, right? So through that idea, I realized that in some way or form, I also want to continue to grow, but I can give back at the same time, right?
Right.
So within teaching, I really kind of found out that I'm still growing while I'm teaching, because I'm also kind of reminding myself the basics, that are very important. It's different when you go play a gig on the keys or whatever, and you play something complicated, and you haven't really touched something in a while, right? Versus you teaching and you literally doing scales every single day.
Yeah, I get it. Like sometimes
if you basics all the time.
If you forget the basics of winemaking, you can really mess up.
Exactly. So,
like you're so far advanced that you're thinking about, oh man, I want to add this and I want to age it in that, and I want to blend it with this, but you miss the basic parts and you can just ruin both wines. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying. So I know you got some music right now out on iTunes. You want to tell the people about it?
Yeah, I actually have my own music on iTunes, Spotify, all streaming platforms. It's actually my first EP that I actually released in 2017, around the time where I was doing a lot of the things that I mentioned earlier. It's called First Impressions. It's an EP. It's actually out still right now, but that was released 2017. I have a single that I just released last year called Trill Love that was entered into a contest here in Houston. And that is also on all streaming platforms. And I'm actually currently working on a new EP as well called Organics that should stay tuned. If you follow me and stuff like that on my platform, you kind of.
So is this a solo album, or are you gonna be working with your group? Because I know you have a group. So what are we doing?
Yeah. So I do also have a band or a collective called Pro7ectSeven, and it's with that project, we're pretty much just a collective. So it's not like we're like a band. We're also all individual artists that come together. So yeah. I love it too. It's been an amazing experience because when you have a bunch of dope people that has like-minded ideas and also can follow each other as far as support each other's passion, but we just kind of come together and create this monster. It's amazing. So we've been doing a lot of really dope things, working on a lot of dope new solo projects. We've been playing at Irma Rose Winery.
Yes,
for a while now.
Yes.
We was there on Fridays and sometimes Saturdays. So thank you if you came through and supported that. And the wine at Irma Rose Winery was delicious, by the way. And it still is delicious. You can catch that at HEB or any of your local specs. Just go ahead and look for it. Google Irma Rose Wine. You see what we're talking about. But,
yes. We're Irma Rose is in a growth phase right now. We're moving locations, so give us some time. We want to make sure we do it right.
Yeah. But shout out to you. I just want to give that a shout out. because that was also a part of the reason why that was important was because that's actually the first place where we got together and performed at.
Yeah,
so thank you for that.
No problem, man. I'm always here to support, local talent and other businesses, and you have everything's business, even if it's just a band or a solo artist. You have to look at it as a business.
Yeah.
You can't give away your service for free. You gotta make sure you making money and not losing money. So I always wanted to give people opportunity to put their name out there, get their name out there. I worked with artists, vendors, food trucks. I try to get everybody out there, and Charles and his group were awesome. Like, I could call them when somebody said they couldn't show up, they would show up. If it was one of them, two of them, 3, 4, right. 5 sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that Pro7ectSeven, check them out. Y'all are on Instagram, right?
Yeah, also, you can follow us on at Pro7 on Instagram. That's PRO, the number 7, EN, the word 7. So PRO7ENSEVEN. Pro7 on Instagram.
And then how can the people follow you on Instagram?
And you can follow me on Instagram at I am Charles Alexander. That's I am Charles Alexander. Follow me on Instagram, check me out, follow my links, check out my music on Spotify and iTunes. Can't wait to show you more things I got coming. And it's been a pleasure, girl. Pleasure.
No.
Mad Wine Chemist, man.
We're not done yet. We're not done yet. I got one more thing. I want to talk about, you said earlier that you were in a competition in Houston. Tell us a little bit about that. Like, there was a live competition for singers. How did that go?
Not necessarily that. I think I was mentioning how I was in a couple of competitions. The Music Soul Live Showcase, they had R&B artists showcase that it was also pretty much a competition.
Okay.
So I participated in that and got second. But also, I think what I was referring to was my single that I released, Trill Love. The reason why I originally made it was because 97.9 Box had a competition where they were looking for all underground Houston on the side artists to send in their music. So you get played, stuff like that. So I actually shot it to them. It made it actually pretty high. And then through that, I ended up promoted it around Houston a lot and got a lot of cool plays and stuff like that. So been growing my following a lot from that too. So it's been fun.
So outside of Earn Rose, where's the coolest place you've ever performed?
Coolest place I ever performed was 106 in Park in Manhattan, with a good friend of mine. Her name's Gwen Bunn. She actually just released the album. Shout out to her. She actually was in it. She really all went with her to support her. That was cool. And this island off the coast of Massachusetts. I want to say Nantucket.
That sounds about right.
Nantucket Island. Forgive me y'all if I'm wrong. It's either Nantucket or Cape Cod, but this is beautiful island off the coast of Massachusetts. You gotta take a ferry to get there. I did a wedding there with the band, so we actually did their wedding, and it was beautiful. It was in this mansion off the coast of the water. The water was I'm from Houston, born and raised. I used to go to Galveston, and you can't see through that water if you know what I'm talking about. You can see through it was beautiful. Beautiful place. The people that lived there were beautiful. It was a lot of beautiful Jamaicans, West Indians, Trinidadians that actually lived on the island. But most of them worked there. They worked and lived on the island. So I was really amazed. I was wow, that's crazy. But it was a beautiful place. I think the place that I'm referring to, I believe President Obama and them had bought a spot out there or something like that. That was the most beautiful, two dopest, most memorable two places.
Now to follow that up, what's your dream place to perform? Where if you could perform anywhere, where would it be?
I would love to perform. I can't think of the name of the arena, but I would love to go to the UK.
O2?
I think so.
The O2 Arena? That's a lot of history there. Yeah, I get that.
But it's a beautiful arena though, and it's huge, and they have a lot of really historical performances there from like a lot of like the Michael Jackson performance that he did there. That was crazy.
Didn't like the Beatles perform there?
Yeah,
like
it was
Metallica, like
it was,
everybody anybody's been through there.
It's a very old place too, so it's like they've had like the Jimi Hendrix and like Days and like it's just a Prince and like it's like a lot of legendary artists that I look up to that I know have performed there, and like you can go look them up and some of the biggest performances were in that arena in the UK. So if you know what I'm talking about, Google it up. But yeah, I would love to go there.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. So if you could do anything with your music, what like to step outside your box? Like I know you're a lot more of an R&B soul type of guy, but like just to step outside your box into a different gen, what would you choose?
I love jazz as well.
So you want to do like some jazz, some smooth, some just
I love like fusion, like jazz, like because I'm also a musician as well. So because of that, you know, I just hear differently. So I don't just hear it's just a songwriter or a singer writing. I hear everything. So sometimes I just, you know.
So you like James Brown, like you that dude in
James Brown's more fun. If I could give you like some artists that I've heard, like Moondance, like Robert Glasper, like the Internet.
I love the Internet.
But also they're more like smooth fusion. But like I just kind of like I don't like to sound like a specific
person. But I'm just saying like when I say like James Brown, like you can go in there and tell your band exactly how you want it played. Like if you're not playing it the way, if they're not playing it the way you want to hear it, you just like nah, you gotta go.
But I love funk as well.
So funk is one of my favorite bands.
And you seen us perform like you get down when we get to the funk and stuff. So
y'all always get the crowd hype.
Yeah, so like I love funk. But if I were to go to where I feel like I haven't been or like really want to get into, because I've been into fusion and that type of stuff. I honestly want to say I kind of want to start getting into country. Start learning some country.
That's nice, like
and some rock. Like
rock. Yeah, love rock. I love rock. I grew up on rock. Yeah. I'm like my favorite concert I've ever been to was Avenged Sevenfold in the Woodlands. Me and my producer Adrian, we like was deaf for 2 days, but it was well worth it. Like they put on the show. We love rock.
Ooh, rock is fire, man.
Yeah, like the energy they bring.
I be doing just fine. Gotta be down because I want it all. That song right there.
Yes.
Yeah. So like, I would definitely start it because I've been getting into that because I've been getting into the business of like cover bands and weddings and stuff to kind of start off building up new bands and platforms to grow. So yeah, definitely. I
can see you doing some like covers like Alien Ant did that cover of Smooth Criminal. That's probably like the best rock cover of a R&B song, bro. Like Alien Ant crushed that.
I bet it is too. Yeah, they're fire.
Yeah. So like one last thing before we hit the road, for an aspiring artist or somebody that's looking into getting some lessons, what kind of advice do you have for them? Like, because like I said, this podcast, this channel is about growth and getting people step out. So what you got?
Outside of course networking being the most important thing, I would say humble yourself and be open to learn and realize that in order to grow you have to listen, and in order to listen you have to be quiet. So sometimes telling everybody what you're going to do and what you want to do and talking too much is not always the best way to go. Sometimes it's better to just tell yourself, this is a decision I'm making with myself, this is what we're going to do, and then I put in action, whether that be praying about it and then taking time to learn about what's the next step, the business behind it, finding the right mentors to get you, to help you, point you in the right direction of where to go if you don't know where to start. Actually, humbling yourself and lowering your ego to be able to reach out to somebody that you may know or might not know that well and say, hey, I know you do this and this is the direction I want to go. Can you help me? Simple things like that. It's really important. So like, yeah, I would just say in order to grow, you have to really be able to listen. You know, and growth is the most important thing when it comes to reaching your goals. It's not like you're never going to be the same. You have to change. So that's what's most important. When you realize that, that's going to get you a long way as well. Especially in something that's aggressive as a music business.
I mean, and wine industry is aggressive too. You know, I started off making fruit wine, and I was afraid to make my own grape wine. That's why I opened a fruit winery. But now I'm like at home practicing making grape wine, reading books, bought books. You know, you can't stay stationary. And one of the first winemakers I met in Sinke from South Africa, she was like, you know, don't let nobody push you to do things that you're not comfortable with, but you can't stay comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, you can't stay comfortable. You have to push yourself constantly to be better at your craft. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank y'all again for today's episode. Come back next Wednesday. We'll see y'all.